Hello everybody, this is Murray back with you on this edition of the Local Lowdown podcast, and this is for the March 13th and 14th editions of this podcast, and we're doing things a little different this time around. I don't have my partner Michelle with me because we are going to run a special edition today, and it's going to feature Iska with interviewing Kenneth Henneke, who is the co-founder of the Fiddler's Frolic event that takes place every April here in Hallettsville. And this year, I'm going to look and see, it's on April the 26th through the 28th. And the feature entertainment is going to be Diamond Rio. So anyway, I'm going to cut this pretty short. I want to thank Bobby and Mr. Henneke for presenting this interview with us so that we could enjoy it. And we will be seeing you again next week with Michelle and I. But for right now, go ahead and enjoy this interview with Mr. Henneke. If you're familiar with Fiddler's Frolic, you probably will learn some things that you didn't know. And if you're not familiar with it, you will become familiar with it and perhaps come to Hallettsville in April and join the fun. Thanks everybody, and we'll talk to you next week.
How did we start the Fiddler's Frolic?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I was a lecturer at the KC's back in the late 60s and early 70s.
Yep.
And lecturer at the KC is supposed to provide programs for the KC. Well, you know, everybody liked to play dominoes and cards back there. And so why have a program where they had to sit and listen to you? What I did, I brought in music. And everybody always enjoyed music while you're playing games as long as it wasn't too loud and nice. And I've done that for a couple of years. And Frank Gruber was one of the musicians. And he said, Kenneth, you know, there's something that you want to look at maybe and do. He said, Ezel has a fiddle hoedown down there once a year, and you'd be surprised it's a quarter mile from the schoolhouse down there, you know, that people are really interested in that. So I went down there with Frank at one time they had it, and I was amazed. I mean, you had a hard time getting near the schoolhouse, much into the schoolhouse to hear the people play. And so it was entertaining. So I just felt that is something we could do. So Frank and I come back at the next meeting. I said, Frank, let's just go ahead and let's do a Texas State Championship Fiddlers contest. You think that big? I said, well, we got a state champion rodeo here, domino tournament here. Why not have a Texas State champion fiddlers contest? Mm-hmm. So I got up and made the motion that night. I said, I would like to see if the KC would help sponsor a Texas State Championship Fiddlers Contest, and the proceeds would go to the building of a new hall. Frank got up and seconded. There wasn't even a discussion about it. They all voted on it and said yes.
Oh, wow.
And here we didn't know really what we're getting into either, but we got it approved with let's go. And they're ready to go, especially when the money's going to go for a new hall. Mm-hmm. So next morning, I went out to Clifford Fire. I knew Mr. Fire real good. He was a good friend. He was a contractor, construction here in Hallettsville. And I knew he loved fiddling and went ahead and had a bunch of fiddles. Mm-hmm. So I told Mr. Fire what we're thinking about doing, what he thought about it. He said, I got first prize money for the contest, and Miss Fryer and I will help, and we're going to take y'all to all these contests in the meantime around here in the state and let you meet these people, and we'll promote it. said, next thing we need to do is say, when do we want to have it? So I had a calendar that went from 1900 to 2000, and I looked at it, and Easter never did fall on the fourth. We thought about spring. That's why I said, kind of. We thought about spring, and I looked in April, fourth weekend in April, at Saturday and Sunday, and Easter never fell through 1999.
Yeah.
So it was flowers, wildflowers, good temperatures that time of year usually, a nice time of year. So Mr. Fryer said too, that won't conflict with nobody else's contest really.
Yeah.
So let's do it. So then we started going with them, on weekends or whatever, where contests were, and meeting these fiddlers and these guitar pickers, and would come back, and then on other weekends we'd contact the people that had the honky-tonk beer joints and see if we could come there and bring some musicians there and play fiddle music. Well, E.J. Hopkins and Jane McCurr and some of that bunch out of Houston, which were some real good fiddlers already and was big in the fiddling people. They'd come down on weekends and go with us, and so I got them a hunting lease down here, which made it still better. So we would go around promoting the fiddle contest. And the first one we ever had would be held on that Saturday in April at the Weed Hall. We got Weed Hall booked. But we had a hospitality night the night before at the parish hall, at the St. Clair Parish Hall. So, we just, for like the kind of people, we like to be hosts, to have something cool to drink, a little food for them, and that they really love that. They couldn't get over that. People treat them that, kindly. In other words, unexpectedly.
Yeah.
So that next day, we didn't know what to expect. Well, Lord and behold, that parking lot that we filled up about 3 or 4 acres. They were parked up and down the highways about a half mile each way. Some were on the side of the road.
Wow.
The contest started that morning. And then they were jamming all the way on the outside of that. And Ed Juno was there. He was a Cajun and playing French music and Cajun, cutting up. He's a real showman. He traveled with Rusty and Doug when they were real hot. He was part of their show.
Yeah.
And so, anyhow, I got to be friends with Ed. And Lord and behold, we had Martha Lynn, the sister. She was the sister from Hallettsville. She was a good musician, country singer. She had her own TV show about 10 years earlier than that in Austin on TV for half an hour every Saturday.
Yeah.
So I called her. She was in Victoria. Buddy Bain was her half brother, and I called Buddy, and I found out she was married Roy Head, and they were in Victoria, and they had a band. And I talked to her, and I said, "Hey, we're starting this down here, this fiddle contest down here. Would you come and help?" She said, "Yeah, I'd love to come. I'll come play for you free." And the dance that night.
Yeah.
Lord and behold, but anyhow, when of course the KC's cook food and serve drinks and everything else, and it just went over real good with the fiddlers and that. But we didn't finish with the contest about 11 o'clock that night. So about 11:15 the dance started. But Dick Barrett won the first contest down here. And everybody, the fiddlers and that, seemed to be really, really happy. Of course, I got to go back a little bit before that. Mr. Fryer that said, you got to run a fiddle contest right, else it won't work for you. To make these fiddlers happy. So what we did, the Friars took care of all the fiddling, whatever it was, the rules, the contest. the judges, and that was so important because the judges probably had to know 1,500, maybe 2,000 songs to judge these people, and it's by note, not by not note. I'm sorry, by ear, not note.
Yeah.
And so you got to have these qualified judges. And so thank God for the Friars. If it wouldn't have been for the Friars, we'd have had nothing. It would have failed. That because, I said maybe I could have been a fiddle judge. Well, I couldn't. Absolutely, I still couldn't be a fiddle judge. After 53 years.
Yeah.
But anyhow, thank God for the Friars. They helped us so much and knew what to do, and all the fiddlers were their friends also. So this went on. Okay, but we outgrew Weed Hall the first year, so we moved it over to the American Legion Hall. We got that, and we started. Hospitality night was Cajun Fun Night with Ed Juno and people like that come in here to entertain, and yet these fiddlers they fiddle too, and they in their groups, a little breakdown fiddling here and jamming here and everywhere. Let me think just a minute. But anyhow,
I remember those when I was a little boy, actually.
Did you?
Yeah, that's the first ones I went to was over there.
I'll be there.
I remember people eating bugs.
Yeah, but anyhow, we really got lucky. I went there, and we had the jam, and I started just with the fiddling and that. We probably decided that you couldn't make it really grow real big by itself, so we decided to put Cajun Fun Night and a Nashville star, a top musician out of Nashville. So Mel Street was our first star for out of Nashville, and he was really good. I mean, but while we were at the Legion Hall, we had Gene Watson, Jimmy C. Newman. And that's where I met Rufus Thibodeau with Jimmy C. Newman. And he said, Kenneth, what you got to do for that Friday night is get you Frenchie Burke as an entertainer. And so it's kind of like the old folks say, it's the connections that you can make and the people that you know.
Yeah.
And not only that, but anybody that we ever asked for help almost, and I was good at asking for help because I couldn't get it done myself.
Yeah.
And they help. They're willing to help. And I mean, everybody helped. We couldn't have done nothing without everybody's help. And the KCs, all that cooking, all that. But getting back to the American Legion Hall, by 75, we had enough money to go ahead and buy the land to build a hall on. So we bought the land to build a hall, and we never thought that would happen that fast. And we bought the land over there where the hall is now, and then a lot of the KCs and the People's State Bank took the loan to build a hall. And of course, when we're building the hall, Mr. Fryer, he didn't want to build a hall that big, but we was going to build it 200 by 100. He said, no. He said, you can build it 120 foot wide now. So that's what happened. The hall was built 120 foot wide, and I always laugh too because we talking about it at the meeting, how size hall going to build, how much it's going to cost, and everything else. And Anton Stefan got up and said, one thing we need to do, we need a dance floor in there that's wood, 70 by 70 wood dance floor. Okay, she voted for that because that back there, dances was big thing. And so we had a 70 by 70 dance floor in it. And of course, then over there, that gave us more room to start expanding more. And we put a run with it, a fun run with it. And it kind of started slowing down, so it started barbecue contests, and chili was real popular back there. Mm-hmm. And so I'm gonna take a little credit on that one. I said no. The rest of them would do chili. I said no. We do barbecue. You got categories, and then chili is everybody else does. Let's do something different that ain't everybody else. And the rest of them agreed with me, went along with me, and that's how the barbecue contest started.
Everywhere.
Yeah, and Peanut Rosnowski and John Hickey went ahead. I got them to be co-chairmen for starting the barbecue contest. So this started, and then we started evolving into barbecue, and it wasn't growing real fast, but it was constantly getting a little bigger. But here come Alan Dukowski and Anthony Kremp Grauman along, and they were single yet. So they started going to the towns around here that had barbecue contests, and of course they were full of bullcorn, and made people happy and invited them in to have this sort of facility on the barbecue. Well, this made it really grow quite a bit. I mean, it picked up probably another 40 or 50 barbecue teams.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean that's what they did. Yeah. And Crimp, Mr. I think Peanut died, if I remember right, and then John kind of retired too, and so Crimp took over, and Steve Grauman helped him take over. Mm-hmm. But anyhow, it kind of growing and everything going. We stopped the fun run because it wasn't quite getting enough people into the hall and stuff like we wanted.
They were running past it.
Yeah, they were running past, but the Fiddlers kept growing. It did keep growing. Okay, then we went ahead. Cliff, Frank Zaruba, and myself, and I contacted Tim Von Nolan. I was real good friends with him. He was state representative, and he incorporated the Fiddler's Frolic as a 501c nonprofit organization for us. And so we actually held a Texas State Championship. The Texas State Championship Fiddlers contest, our motion we start. Frank Zaruba come to me about a week or 10 days later. Said, Kenneth, what would you think if we would call it frolics instead of contest? I said, Frank, you're the mechanics man. I'm supposed to visit from Boulder. I said, you just made my job easy by having a special catchy name. I said, yes, we definitely. And Mr. Fryer said too, great. This is a great thing to do. But yeah, that's kind of, I forgot to tell you that too. But Friars took care of the fiddling. Frank was going to take care of the mechanics of it, and I was the promoter.
Yeah.
And we still stay that way to this day, kind of. Yeah. But anyhow, we had a blast. So anyhow, I had to go back and see that. But we did.
How'd you get it to be the official?
Official?
Yes. How'd you do that?
The charter.
Okay.
The charter.
Yeah.
And Al Winters, he had a Texas State Champion contest in Houston, and he become one of our good friends too, and he did some of our IMC and that right at first early, and he said, hey, I wouldn't even argue with you on the Texas State Championship Fiddler Frolic. Your name is different, and I'm not promoting mine. So it just died. He had a certificate name, like you had, but we become good friends. He had a fiddle shop in Houston that he worked on fiddles and that, and people went in there and stuff like that.
Back to the you mentioned some of the big names you had. I was going through your list last year when we took that section over. Looking at the list, you had Hank Jr. You had some huge names. I mean,
Bellamy Brothers, Charlie McLean, Earl Thomas Conley.
Yes.
I mean, we had the best of the best.
Yes, that was. I did not expect to see that in Hallettsville, Texas. I'm sorry. I know I've been here around it this whole time. I did not know y'all had that kind of name.
Oh God, yeah.
Yes,
I got them all in there.
Yes.
What I really liked about it too is what we did at the Fiddler Frolic. We not only gave the best fiddlers and guitar pickers in the world, we brought in the top Nashville stars here in Hallsville where they could come see them in the KC Hall, and they didn't have to go to Nashville to see them and dance to them. Hank Williams Jr., we had 2,500 or 2,600 people in that hall. Wow. Don't tell the fire code that. That was the most people ever had in that hall.
I bet so.
You couldn't move.
Yeah.
You couldn't move.
That had to be a show.
It was, and he was good. He was good. I mean, I guess this is one of the things that made me feel so good about everything too. That these people are friendly to you, and you make friends with them. You know, you not only book them, but you get to sit with them, visit with them, go on the bus with them, or whatever, and you actually become friends. I had several of them want me to come to Nashville, family, spend the night with them. You know, I mean, I never did, but anyhow, ain't that crazy?
Yeah, it's amazing some of the stuff that she's gone through there. It really has.
Yeah, I mean, and Ray Price, I had him in the hall. I got a call one night at 11 o'clock at the house. It wasn't a Fiddler Frolic, but I had him here. And his manager said, Ray's in the area. Could y'all pay him $7,000? I said, no. I said, they ain't got enough time. And I said, I'll give you 70%. Oh, no, I said, you know he's that good and he's going to really draw. So I'm trusting you that 70% is going to make you more money than that $7,000 will. Yeah. So he agrees.
Oh, man.
And Ray Price sounds better live than he does on records. And how much better can you get than he is on records?
Right. Man.
Oh.
That's amazing. The group we had there last year, Friday night, the Cajun group, name's escaping me right now.
Yeah.
The guys that came in, they were amazing. I really enjoyed their show. I mean,
they were really good, and I didn't bring them back this year. I wouldn't have liked to, but we're bringing 4 new because we're catching some hell. That I can't hell. I do too much to say. Best it's hard to basically step down.
Yeah. So
we're doing this year. We're putting 4 Cajun bands on with that. Now I got 2 guys out of Puerto Vaca. That's Cajun, and I think they're going to be funny and crazy. And so I think people are going to like them. So I don't know. We're really trying a major difference this year. What's called like Diamond Rio, they cost us $35,000 plus 11 motel rooms. We got about 70% sold out in tables already to cover that cost. Now, I'm going to give that credit to Alan Jerkowski and Casey, his son. And here again, I can tell you this now, you can go back and read this through this. When you pick anybody to help you, I've done the choosing of who's going to almost do what at Fiddler's Frolic, most of the stuff. Alan Jerkowski, I picked him as the co-chairman for our, with Stuart Frank and myself. He's the other only co-chairman that we've ever had. He knows all the technology, computer-wise and stuff like that, and remember what him and Crimp did it was mostly Alan, I can tell you that, because Alan has got the finesse to sell, and brought all them 40 to 50 barbecue teams in. I said, they're going to be some of our best KCs one of these days. They were young. You know, what the hell? These guys forgot they were full of piss and vinegar at one time too. I mean, you think about it. You don't get nothing out of people that just sit on their ass and do nothing, and you got to have people that are not afraid to get out and do.
Yeah.
And ask, you know. So, but anyhow, that's where Alan. Got in there, and him and Casey. I turned over to about 6-7 years ago. I turned over the Saturday night booking to them. That's Kyle Parks, and then the other guy that now he goes for about $100,000. He's a rodeo. He was a rodeo guy.
Yes, Corey.
No, not Corey Moore. But anyhow, and just down there earth guy. Him and his wife and kids sat with him an hour in the Hall of Fame room talking to him, but listen, Bob, I'm getting too damn old to really know what maybe the younger people and the bigger money crowd is going to come in. And you got to make money on something like this, it's for charity. And I can tell you one thing, not a one of us has ever taken a nickel out of that Fiddler Frolic 501c3.
Yeah.
Because if it did, I'd quit. And then, but anyhow, and hell, I got in with a TV group in Victoria. Mm-hmm. I bet you we had 15, 20 TV shows, half-an-hour shows on prime time they let us have.
Yeah.
And I'd bring the band and the people. We wouldn't even rehearse. All I told them, I said, these guys are that good that can play. I said, you tell me 1 minute before a commercial has to come, or then half minute or whatever, and I relay that message without talking to the people that were playing. And you know what they told me? They never had to edit one damn program that we had.
Well,
ain't that crazy?
Amazing.
But that's how good the musicians are.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, that's just part of it. To be a Texas State champion contestant, you must have a valid Texas driver's license. That's the only way you can win Texas State championship. But at the same time, we were having a lot of out-of-state people coming in here, mm-hmm. wanting to fiddle and compete in our contests and stuff. But they couldn't. So Stuart came up with the idea, why don't we have Gone to Texas contest and let them in there? But we're wondering how we're going to fund it, because we don't really make any money off the fiddle contest itself. That. And then we'll pick a certain number of people out of that, or either maybe let them all come and compete and for prize money that day. And that will be much more entertaining to people than the actual breakdown music would be, because the younger people especially is not in the breakdown music. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, the truth is the truth, and you got to realize that we've changed more on the Fiddler Frolic than any other event that I've ever been with.
Yeah.
Our best part of. Yeah. We have changed more, and you got to change. You got to change. You got to keep up with the times of that if you're gonna keep going. We set up the Memorial Fund, which goes ahead and we're putting money in there, and it cannot be spent because the interest be used only for helping promote fiddling. It's building money, but we probably need to build it faster. We probably need to get to some big organization, something that really likes music a whole lot, and then will give us, if we can get up to $1 million or more, then you can sustain, let's put it this way, and keep true American heritage music alive by ear, which is still done by ear. So that to me, that's what. Back there too, when about Gone to Texas, Mr. Fryer knew Forrest Craig. He was one of the top fiddle makers in the United States, Pasadena. And so he said, I'll start giving one to the freshman division. It worked about $2,500 fiddle. So he was doing that, and then Mr. Craig died, and some buddies, I think, of his that went in there and got most of the fiddles we were supposed to get as far as that goes. But we had enough for about another 5-6 years. But then Robert Duckworth, he fiddled all over the world too. Went ahead and contacted this awesome fiddle maker that was bringing in European fiddles, and she decided to give us 10 fiddles. So we're about through with them right now. But he varnished them, and he put inside won Fiddler, Frolic, Hallettsville in the day in 1 year. And he makes beautiful fiddle out of it, and he really knows what he's doing. And so he got another company now that said they'll give us fiddles as long as we know.
Oh wow, that's great. What company is it?
I'd have to go back and ask him. I tell you what, I didn't write it down. I got it, I think, at the house somewhere. But my memory ain't good on names, like it should be.
Me either. I understand.
But anyhow, let's see what we're doing now. Okay, we're bringing in them 4 different. Did you look at the website? 4 different.
No, I have not yet.
If you look at the website, you'll see the 4 different people we're bringing in. We're bringing in Diamond Reels Saturday night, along with that Thomas boy who traveled around the semi-pro. Let's put it that way. Saturday on the outside, we're bringing in Regina Massey, and she plays for all kind of stars in her band, Cactus Country. And she provided music for them. And she's been in a movie and everything else already out in San Antonio. She's a good friend, so she comes out and plays for us. And she's a real showgirl. Sunday, we're bringing in Darryl McCall. And we give all this to the barbecue people. They're doing that's where we'll make a lot of our money. So we spend $5,000 or $6,000 a year just on music and give to them. Well, we don't give them a lot of money prizes, but this way everybody gets something nice out of it. And it keeps them happy. And this should be a barbecue contest we want to keep happy, not a fighting one over money. That's our theory on the barbecue. Maybe we're wrong, but who else got 130 barbecue teams for a small town?
Right.
I mean, I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
So when it's working, let's keep on working it that way.
I remember when I was a member of KC's in Sealy.
Yeah.
Everything we did was, Hallettsville KC's happened. When they built their hall, when they expanded their hall, everything was, Hallettsville KC's happened. Everything.
They talked about Hallettsville.
Yes.
Larry Casimba. I know Larry real good too. He can be a captain and a half.
Yeah.
Okay. I see the other thing that I was real good at going after magazines and you ask them if they would like the story about you, and when you're a 501c3 organization, you tell them what you're doing, true American heritage. Southern Living wrote us up 3 times. Karen Lingon, you're Karen. Finally got to know everybody. I mean, Texas Monthly, Texas Co-op, our airlines. I'd have to go back and look how many write up about the Fiddler, Frolic, and Hallettsville and Domino. Even the KC National magazine wrote about the Domino. I got to write about Domino. So I'll take credit for that, even though I don't need credit for it. I'll take credit for that. Radio. Back that day, especially in the first 15, 20 years, radio was real big. And the thing that I'll never forget, Charlie Tudor with Cats Radio out of California gave me a call. That was in the 70s. He said, I'd like for you to have a fiddler on that we could go ahead and record it and play it on our radio show. About 3 months later, Ronnie Staha in Panama, he worked for Panama, for Farina. He's the one that developed caged shrimp. Hallettsville boy. Said, hey, Kenneth, I heard you on the radio. Only 100,000 watt radio station in Panama. They had it over there too. How about that?
That's amazing.
Is this for real or not? Yeah. But you have to act like it is and take it for real. I mean, but you don't know. TV, I mean, Channel 25 still gives us free ads. And man, let's cut them. And I have to send you an ad that we cut last year. Yeah, we got people that know how to do it, and they help us. Bobby, without all the help that we have asked for and gotten, we would have nothing. Yeah. It ain't people like us. Yeah, we kind of maybe call some of the shots of that, but without that help, we would have nothing. Yeah. You got all that has to work. Yeah. All that has to work. Yeah. If it don't work, you ain't got nothing. If you ain't got help doing this, the tickets at the door, beer, soda water, outside. I mean, if you gotta have, and all them KCs, it takes 200 to 300 KCs a weekend to make it work. Wow. And how many wives and families and none KCs help us. Yeah. I mean,
there's tons.
God, and not only that, but if you didn't have Lavaca County people friendly, you couldn't do it either.
I gotta ask this question just because I come from families that have all the bands and such. You're in the heart of polka country.
Yes.
How did y'all decide on a fiddle contest of all things?
Because I like country western music. I was providing country western music, like I told you to begin with, for the entertainment for the KCs. They would play an hour or two. Yeah. The KCs enjoyed it. They played download cards 2, 3 o'clock in the morning with kids hell for the neighbors. For various not for the music, but for to stand up late, the other one. And Frank took me down to to Ezel, which I, had no. But when I seen that crowd that people liked it, if this works for them down there, and we can go ahead and do it here in Hallettsville, and we can pull this local crowd and pull a crowd, from out of town and stuff. It's got to be something that would work. Yeah. So I mean, how would you say it? Coincidence? Right time, right place? I don't know. Well, we got the Polka Fest. Henry and them started that Polka Fest, Publiska them, and it worked. And you know what's good about it? The difference between everything that we got going at that KC Hall. Yep. That's what makes everything work as good as it works. I mean, and I'll support any one of them projects that KC's got. And anybody that starts a project, I'm going to double support him because I know what it takes to get that thing off the ground. And if I had to do it all over again now, I couldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. It's just.
What would you do different?
What would I do different? They won't play Donald drink beer.
Let somebody else do it.
Well, I've always had to do something. I had to do something, and I never looked back. And I thank God that I did it, because it's so satisfying to wife and me, and get to know all these people and become friends with them. In fact, like the documentary that was made, The Devil's Box, this guy comes out there Saturday morning about 11 o'clock. He needs a 2 or 3 2-pound catfish or so, live. Nobody comes on a Saturday morning, 11 o'clock. I said, what in the hell you need a catfish for? Can't you buy a dead one? Yeah, but I got to have a live one. We're making a movie over at Utopia, and we got to have a live catfish. We're just finishing it up for this girl to catch, and then we're finished with it after today. And I said, well, do you do documentaries? Yeah. I said, I told him about the Fiddler Frolic. And I was talking to him, and he said, well, I got to go. I'll think about it. So he got back over there, And for some reason, the other people on the set over there, some of them had been here to the Fiddler Frolic, and they told him. So about 2 weeks later, he called him back. We might be interested in it. So he come over here, and that's how the Devil's Box got done.
Huh.
Coincidence again.
Yeah.
Right place, right time.
Huh.
I mean, and that made South by Southwest. Over 5,000 films were submitted from all over the world for South by Southwest. Less than 90 were chosen to premiere. The Devil's Box made the premiere.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was one of the first things when I came to this job here. I asked around, who's going to be playing? Oh, you need to talk to the Yurkowskis. I went in there and said, who y'all got? You need to watch this film first. Come back, see us when you're done. Yashik.
Daniel
Yashik, yes.
He is such a good guy.
Yeah, and I saw that on there, and then the first year I saw him play, it's been like, oh my God, this is something here when they do the old timers fiddle contest.
Yeah,
I love that thing in the morning on Sundays.
Oh, I tell you what, that Daniel, he is a prince. He gonna try to play again this year.
Yeah,
53 years.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh Lord, and the guy that I owe. He was our state champion way back there a couple of years in a row. He lives up there by Waco. He was head of public relations for Southwest Airlines. I can't think of his name now. I don't get 85. But anyhow, when I liked the way he explained the difference between the old breakdown way they by ear and how they do now. And he said it's like a woman, beautiful woman. He said she's so pretty, but then she puts on a little makeup and some jewelry, and look how beautiful she looks. That's how he explained the difference between the kind of the swing on the old time music and not.
Yeah. Wow.
But anyhow, I'd have to go back and look at it. Oh yeah, I told you that Smithsonian got about a 10 or 12 minute film on us. Mm-hmm. They're showing it now all over now in 2028.
Oh wow, that's neat.
Yeah. How about that?
Peshek, Dennis Peshek.
Yeah.
He does the paintings every year.
Yeah, he's the one who told me about it, and guy, he said him and I on it.
I did a picture for him here a couple years back.
Yeah,
with Wes and that other guy in the red jacket. I see him now. He was a professional musician.
Anastasio.
Yes.
Paul Anastasio.
Paul, yes.
He played for Merle Haggard and all these people. And he comes every year, Paul does.
Yes. I got a picture of those two together on stage, just with my phone. And he wound up painting that, and that wound up at the Smithsonian. I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's just something.
Yeah.
You know, and how to say it, it's the right place at the right time. You know, and of course, you got to make things happen too. It don't happen by itself.
Yeah.
The other thing is that to me, I mean, and I think I told you, so many people. We ask them for the fiddle volunteer their time and talent. Without these people, who could never accomplish what we have. A most gracious thank you to everybody for your support, including the city of Hallison and Lavaca County folk. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we couldn't. There's no way in hell we could do it without all that help.
Yeah. Often the case with a lot of things. I got a question for you. Back when y'all started and did that first weed show, and y'all had cars up and down the highway, did you ever think you'd be sitting here? What is this, 54 coming on?
71 be 53rd. 54, yeah, I get it actually. 54th, 53rd anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's...
Did I ever think? No.
Yeah.
We had no earthly idea. And then after we got in it for a few years, then we started wearing what do we have to do to keep it going? Since it's a success, basically from day one, because of the Friars, how do we keep it going and make them proud of us that we did something that they like? And so, I mean, you can ask my wife. I do put a lot of work into it. We put even fair amount of money every year out of our pocket, not as much as we used to, because we don't get people down to our camp house as much as we used to. We used to 2-3 times a year go down to the camp house and feed them all, and have 60 people there maybe or so. But this was part of PR. That you kind of you got to stay friends with as many people as you can, and make them feel that you're saying thank you in a way that maybe somebody else will try to hand you money to say thank you. Where they feel much more satisfied, I think, if you try to be nice to them, offer them a meal or a drink or something like this. And to me, it means more when somebody does something like that for me than here's $100 bill. Well, $100 bill. I mean, really. I mean, they're trying to be nice. To me, money ain't the way to be nice. But I think I got the basics to you of how it really happened. That's the way it really did happen. It ain't often somebody gets to be part of something like that, and like I say, kind of happen by coincidence.
You one more thing before you go. I know you've seen a lot of good friends, Cliff being one, come and go through the years. We're all getting around that older age ourselves. It's going to happen sooner or later. What's it been like to see that many people come and go? I mean, a lot of guys.
What's it like? You miss them, but this is reality. This is life. We're born to die. And like I told you before, the only reason I think I probably have lived maybe 8 or 9 years longer already than I should is the good Lord don't want nobody raised hell in heaven, and the devil afraid I'm going to take over. I ain't got no place to go. So I don't know how else to explain it. Other than maybe the good Lord wants to punish my wife and have me around a while yet.
No. I just looked through some of the scrapbooks and things, and I mean, there's a lot of people, and their kids are winning the shows now. But you look at it, it's like, wow, that's a lot of talent that's just not here now.
I mean, how do you say it? Course is how we grew up, and we were so comfortable around those people that are not here no more. And we're still comfortable around the newcomers, but maybe not as relaxed, because there's always some generation gap between ages. I don't know how to say it. And I'm open to any questions you might have.
That's pretty much. I think we covered a whole bunch of stuff there. If I have anything else, I'll give you a holler back.